Welcome back, everyone. For today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the bots on the great site chess.com. Now, of course, it is the start of a new year, but it is also the start of a new month as well, which means that chess.com has brought us some new bots for the year. Now, in typical fashion, chess.com has created some new bots after the former 5-time world chess champion Magnus Carlsen. There are different bots at levels 500, 1000, 1500, 2000, and 2882. But most importantly, there is a secret bot on chess.com called quote unquote the Magni, which has an impossible rating and we don't know its strength. So without further ado, let's jump right into the action. We're gonna take on the Magni. Let's see if we can beat it. I have a feeling it's gonna be a lot harder than Magnus Carlsen, who I have actually played over the board and online many times, but let's find out. All right, so here we go. I'm going to start by playing challenge, and I'll play with the white pieces and the black pieces. I'm going to start by playing the move knight to f3, try to play something a little bit slower because we don't know what the rating is and we're trying to establish how strong the bot is in fact. So I'm going to go g3 here, bishop g2 and castles on the next couple of moves. We get g6, bishop g2, probably it will play bishop to g7 here. I will now castle my king, and it chooses to castle. Now after castles, I can maybe play d4, maybe c4. We're seeing some very witty comments here. It says we have won 21 combined Blitz World Championships. The Magni has never lost a game to Anatoly Karpov, a former world chess champion. All right, so I'm going to go d3 here. I could play d4, could play c4, plays d5. I'm now going to play knight d2, followed up by e4. Now this first game, what I'm trying to do is establish how strong the bot is. But one fun fact is, unless I am mistaken, this position after e4, knight c6, I'm pretty sure I had that position against Magnus Carlsen, the Speed Chess Championship, all the way back in 2016. Maybe it was called something different at the time, but I'm pretty sure after knight c6 and rook e1, I had that exact position. So the Magni takes on e4. I'll take back with my d pawn. I already think I'm doing quite well. I'm going to go c3, stop, and he jumps to either d4 or e5. It goes to e5. Now e5 feels a little bit dubious here because it creates some weakness in the center, the d4 square covered by my pawn on c3. Meanwhile, the d5 square is completely available for me to jump with a knight. So I'm going to go queen e2, rook d1, and knight c4 next couple of moves. Let's go. I could play rook d1 here. I could also move my knight. I think rook d1 looks like a pretty standard move. Try and put the knight on c4, maybe back to e3. We got bishop to e6, very logical. And now I have a question. Do I go knight c4 or do I play knight to b3? Now knight to b3 will probably go queen to e7. I could move the knight back to f1 as well. I'm not a huge fan of doing that. So I think what I'm going to try to do in this position, if I'm trying to get a read on what the level of the bot is to play something a little bit dubious. So I'm going to start with bishop to f1. Now this is not a great move, but my idea is to play queen e1 followed by bishop to c4. Goes a6, very reasonable move. Now I could go knight c4 takes and then maybe queen to e1. Looks a little bit dubious, so I'm going to start with queen e1 here. Now I could play b5. I could also move the queen to c7. Now I'm going to go bishop c4. Probably it will trade off the bishops. Goes bishop g4, which actually is could be more than a slight problem for me because now this knight on f3 maybe is a little bit misplaced. So I'm going to go bishop e2, followed up with knight to h4, offer a trade of the light square b's once again. Does not trade the bishops. Very good decision. And now what do I do? Now I could go a4, but I'm actually quite behind in spatial development here, and my bishop, my rook, and the other rook are not very passive. These three pieces, sorry, I said passive, I meant active, are just not in the game. So I'm going to go f3 here and try to play knight f1 and knight e3. I want to move the knight right away, but then there's knight takes e4. So let's go back, try to put a knight or a bishop on e3, get knight h7, and now maybe I can jump with the knight to d5. Maybe I'm kind of a little bit of hopium here that I can do that. Let's trade. Maybe I'll go bishop d2 and rook d1 instead. Actually, I kind of like this idea. Rook d1, bishop c1. Try to trade off the active rook here. Now, one problem for me is I'm a little bit behind in development here. So because I'm behind in development, I want to trade off some pieces. Let's go bishop c1. Probably it'll play bishop c5 to pin the knight. I can still trade the rooks, of course, which is what I'm hoping to do. Probably will get queen d8. And now the question here is, how do I play the position? Now I'm going to go knight to g2, maybe h4 next move, maybe king to h1. Does not feel all that wonderful, but I feel like I'm hanging on by a thread. Now f5 is a very aggressive move. I could trade. I could also maybe go knight d1. I don't particularly love my position, to be honest, but I feel like I'm maybe I'm hanging on by a thread after knight to d1 and maybe bishop e3. I could also go knight f1. Could also take and maybe play f4. Now taking and playing f4 is very, very committal because I could end up in a lot of trouble, but I think I'm just going to go for it because assuming the bot is really strong, I think that's the only way to try and proceed. After takes, I get queen g3. We have bishop d5 played here, another very, very strong move. I could maybe go queen to f1 and bishop f3. At least is what I'm trying to do here. Just try to trade off some pieces. I feel like I'm close to losing. We get queen d3. So if I trade, there's takes knight f2 and I'm in a lot of trouble. If I go bishop e2, that does nothing. If I take on e4, queen f1 takes, knight f2, king g1, maybe it's okay, maybe probably not. But when all is said and done, I don't really have many options here. Knight e1 is also kind of a move to go knight to e1 here, but there's probably queen b1, bishop e4, queen e4, and that looks kind of losing, but it might be the only try. So let's go knight e1 here. Now I might be blundering the game away. It plays queen b1. I can obviously take on e4. We'll get queen e4, knight g2, or queen f3 maybe. Let's go queen f3. And I still feel like I'm hanging on by the thinnest of threads here. I can trade the queens on e4, which I think is what I should do, and then play g takes f4, knight f2 I have here, so I take. After takes, knight c4. Am I back in the game? Maybe not. Plays knight e7, which to me feels like a slight, maybe not mistake, but doesn't feel like the best move here. I could of course just be much worse. I could play like knight d1 and knight g2 maybe. Really feels like I'm hanging by a very thin thread. So I think I'm going to go knight to d1. I guard the pawn. I cover the check on f2. I go here, cover this, guard the pawn. No ideas. Knight f2. Let's take. But after bishop f2, my knight on g2 is completely dominated. Now e3, e2 probably wins the game for black, unless I'm in time with this bishop e1 idea. Probably not. He probably can just trade, take, king f1, goes king g7, and now I'm actually in a big zugzwang here. So I trade the bishops after takes. There's no knight to e3, like takes, knight covers, so I can't get back. And now I am effectively lost. I guess I should play it out so that people see exactly why. So I guess I'll just play h4. It's just going to walk the king up the board, and this knight on g2 can never really get back into the game. Let's go king h3 here. Probably king e4, knight f4 also is good enough to win. Takes and king g2, and after king e3, king f1, king f3, h5, black can just start pushing the pawns, and the rest is very straightforward. So you get h5. I'll play, I guess, b4, probably king f3, king d3. Okay, I thought king f3 was also winning, but it goes to d3. Let's play a3. As soon as it gets the queen, I'll simply resign the game. Let's go here, probably c3, c2. Let's go here, king g5 takes. And there's probably, since it is actually a bot, I guess we'll see how quickly it can win the position. I want to see if it wins it in sort of the minimal amount of moves, or whether it actually takes more time, because that also will be very telling to me. Now it plays king takes a3, which is of course winning still, but I suspect there probably is a quicker way to win. Maybe I'm wrong, but at any rate, I guess I'll just resign it here, because if I play it out, of course it's just a forced checkmate. So let's resign the game, and let's click on rematch, and I'll play it now with the black pieces. So we get d4. So what I'm going to do, since we're playing a bot again, is I'm going to go back to one of my basic structures, which is sort of playing random moves here. Try to fianchetto the bishops, bring the knights in, play hippopotamus setups, and get some idea of how strong the bot is. Let's go e6. d6 was actually a little bit better, I think. It might have had d5, which could have been very strong, but still the position seems okay. It's funny that the bot says we do not understand your pawn structure. It's actually very funny. So I'm going to go a6 here. I'm going to play, I guess I'll go knight to d7, maybe knight e7, bishop g7. I'm actually pretty happy with the setup. Plays e5. That doesn't actually make me super thrilled, but I think I'm still okay here after knight e7 and bishop g7. We'll see if it tries to attack very quickly on the king side. It plays b4, which I'm a little intrigued by. Stop c5. It doesn't seem like a wonderful move. I think I'm gonna go b5, maybe c6 here, maybe knight b6, knight c4. Again, not thrilled, but it's a closed position. It should give me some chances to play. Knight h4, very scary move, by the way. So I guess I'll go knight b6. Takes, I can take with the c pawn. We get queen h3, which intriguing move as well, because it doesn't really threaten anything immediately on the king side, but maybe it wants a sack here on b5 down the road, so that could be kind of scary. So the question is, how do I play the position? Now knight f5 is obviously a move. I don't love it, but I think it's acceptable. So let's go knight f5, try to trade and pressure the pawn on b4. Of course I take with the e pawn here, plays rook b1. So now what I want to do is I think I'm going to try to close the center of the board here, maybe go bishop e6 at some point, maybe clog it up as much as I can. I can play bishop to e7 again. Now it goes a5, which I guess I put the knight on d7 or c8. Not really sure which square is correct, but I'm gonna go to d7. I'm gonna go bishop e7, queen c7 over the next couple of moves. It's trying to reroute the knight to c1, so I'm gonna bring my knight back to e6 eventually. Let's go here, probably bishop d7 and knight to e6. Let's go here, knight e6 next move. Great outpost for the knight. Slight weaknesses here, maybe. Question is, can I stop white from pushing on the king side? Now I can take with either the bishop or the knight. Knight takes looks correct, so I can just go bishop to e6, closing the center of the board once again. And I'm gonna go queen c7. I'm gonna castle my king to the queen side in the next couple of turns, and I feel like I should be doing pretty well here. In fact, I'm not even sure that I'm worse. In fact, I don't think I am worse, even though the Magni bot is reminding me once again that it's won 21 combined Blitz World Championships. So let's go king to b7 here. Now I'm gonna go rook to d7, try to slowly bring my pieces over to the king side. I can always go h5 if I want to. It's really a big question whether I should. I think I will just do it right away. Maybe h4, maybe f4. If it goes h4, now the king side is pretty closed up here. It's gonna be very hard for white to do anything specifically. So what I'm gonna aim for is eventually bring the rooks back, move the queen over, and try to really prevent white from pushing on the king side. Now I should draw this game without too much difficulty. I think I would say, I think it's pretty safe to say that. Let's go maybe here. I got to make sure c4 is never an idea. Let's go back, just kind of sit and wait here, kind of chill a little bit, move the king back to c8. Maybe I can even just play rook d7, because c4, as long as I can take with the b pawn, it should be playable. So I guess I'll play, I don't know, king to a8. Maybe c4, I can still just take the pawn. Now I'll just sit and wait with rook d8. Probably it's going to go bishop g5 at some point. Plays c3, so one pawn move that is lost. I'll keep waiting with the rook back and forth here on d7 and d8. At some point bishop g5 will be played. As long as c4 is covered though, I'm not super concerned. So it goes there. I could play bishop f8 to trade the bishops. I think there's no reason not to. Go here, offer the trade of the bishops once again. Goes here, let's offer the trade. Surely it's going to reject it. Okay, it goes there, so I'll just go back. c4 I can still just take with the pawn. Goes there. I guess I'll try to move my king and my queen out of the line of fire on these two diagonals. Okay, we'll go back and forth. We'll do the dilly-dally game once again. Let's go back. We're basically, last pawn push was on move 39, so as long as I don't accidentally blunder some c4, it should be fine. In fact, I should draw this game. So assuming that I draw this game, we will play a third one, a final encore, to try and get some idea of the actual strength. Now what I've done in this game to sort of effectively draw it, again, maybe I'm talking too soon, speaking too soon, as we like to say, is that wait, I'll go here. Is that computer programs, they seem to allow you to lock up these positions very frequently in a way that is not advantageous. So I'm gonna go queen d8 here, offer the trade of the bishops. Probably we get queen d4. I'll go back. If c4, I can always take. I might try to sack an exchange here at some point, by the way, with like rook to d8 perhaps. I think actually, you know what, let's just go for it right here. Offer the trade of the bishop for the rook. It takes. Now if c4, I can just take with the b pawn. So now I'm going to try to reset this, where I put the king on. I'm going to go here to hit the queen. I'm going to try to put the king maybe on the queen side here. It goes f4, and now really the only question is the c4 pawn break. So now everything I do here has to be predicated on not letting white stack the rooks on the d file, or being able to push c4 and b5. If I can prevent that, I will not lose this game. So I think the first step is to put the king on h8, king on 8, put the queen on b7. Maybe that works. Maybe king's better here. Honestly, my king doesn't feel very safe pretty much anywhere, to be honest, so maybe I'll just leave it on b8 and just put the queen on b7 perhaps, to really prevent white from being able to sack. Let's go here. Actually, I can't run the king to the king side, because there's always going to be some c4 issue here, so I guess I'll just wait with rook h8. Probably play rook h7, rook h8, back and forth. No reason not to. Last pawn push, move number 64, so we are now 10 moves in. play king b8, king a8, or king a7, depending. Again, I guess I'll just go here, probably play like rook b8 somewhere. Maybe I'll just wait. Probably I can just wait because I can always put the queen on b5 later on, so it doesn't really matter that much. Pre-move this, we're at 79. Again, 15 moves in. If we play 35 more moves without either a pawn push or a capture, the game will end in a draw. So we keep waiting. King a8, king b8. We're at 83, so we're 20 moves in. I can start to pre-move at this point because in this position neither side really has a lot of play, and it's not going to take either of these pawns because it's not a human, and it's also not going to play c4 because for the algorithm it will only push the pawn when it's right around move 50. Now what I'm playing for in this game very specifically is the algorithm thinking that white is much better here, so at some point it will do anything to avoid the 50 move rule. It'll sack a bishop, sack a pawn, whatever that might be, but it will try very, very hard to avoid making the draw. So that's what I'm banking on here, but I could be wrong. So let's go here, probably king a8 again. I can even pre-move it. We're 30 moves now, 20 moves away from move 50. Let's go king b8, king a8, keep rolling. Again, I think I'll pre-move. This is 97, 98, 99 next move, so we're halfway there. Soon to be at 100 moves after king a8. I guess I'll pre-move it because why not? Maybe it will play c4 here, maybe, but I still somewhat doubt it. I think it's only going to play c4 if we're at move number 45 plus, probably move 49 in fact, if I had to guess. So what I'm going to do here is I'm sort of going to try to invite c4 so that I can just take. I'm not sure if it's going to do it, of course, but it could. Last pawn push was move 64, so if we get to 50 that would be 114. We're currently at 108 right now. Go here, making sure against c4 is not an issue. I can just take with both pawns. Let's go here, I guess, and I can just take. Probably we're gonna get 40 moves. I don't think the computer is gonna think it's winning after c4, so it probably won't do it, but it could. It doesn't. Okay, so now I'm gonna take, and now what you guys are gonna see is that I'm in it to win it. My goal here is to try and beat the computer. Let's go rook b8. I think I'm gonna play rook b5. I'm actually gonna do something interesting. Or can I do something interesting? If I sack the rook on b5, can I blockade? I don't actually know if I can. I'm gonna go for something. Let's go here. Eventually I'm gonna sack this rook, and I'm gonna try to create one of my classic 230 move replica victories against this old engine called Ribka. So let's go bishop f8. Now I could play queen b7. Yes, let's go queen b7. I'm gonna take with the queen. I could take with the pawn too, but let's take with the queen. Let's go here, and now what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to run my king all the way over to the king side, slowly but surely, if I can. Can I run it over? I probably can, but I'm not sure. So okay, let's just go back. I'll go king a7 somewhere. Maybe I can play queen b8 too, depending. Let's go here. At some point I'm hoping it'll go queen a3 and queen a4, but maybe not. Let's go back, I guess. At b5 I think I can always take with the a pawn, so I think I'm going to try to prevent g4, put my king on a8 here. If b5 I can always take with the c pawn or the a pawn for that matter, so I guess I'll just wait. Let's go here. Let's go here, maybe queen a4 somewhere, maybe not, depending. Okay, let's go back. If b5 I think I can always just take with the a pawn, so it's kind of what I'm angling for here, is basically take with the a pawn at some point if I have to. Go back, see if it plays b5 somewhere. I think it will play b5 eventually, because the last capture was on move number, if we scroll up, the last capture was move last capture was move 120, so we're at move 140, so we've made 20 moves here. So I'm just going to keep waiting. Let's go queen b8, go queen c7, just start sitting and waiting. I can always put the bishop on g7 too, maybe at some point, but I feel like it needs to be targeting this pawn on h4. Go here. Last capture on move 20, of course, we're trying to keep an eye on that. I guess I'll go here. b5 I can always just take with the a pawn. Let's just go back, I guess. b5 just takes. Main thing I have to be careful of in this position is that if white ever goes b5 takes an a6, there's no a7. So like for example, if I put the king on a8, it goes b5 takes a6 a7, I will lose the game. Now the big question in my mind as I look at this position is which pawn is white going to push. Now the algorithm should provoke the computer to push the B pawn, I think, because G4 takes just looks very, very dubious. So I'm really trying to prevent G4 and force B5. So after B5 takes, let's go here. Probably it'll play Queen A4 maybe. No, it doesn't. Let's go here, I guess. If G4, I always just take. So let's go back. See if it plays B5 or not. Now, again, not 100% sure what I'm doing, but after B5 takes A6, Queen D8, I should be fine. So let's go Queen B8, attack the pawn. B5, I will just take with the A pawn. Let's play Queen B5 to lock it up. We're now nearing about 40 moves, so I do need to be a little bit careful because on B5 takes A6. Maybe I'll just go Queen C7 here, prevent B5. Let's just go back, I guess. If B5, I can always take the C pawn too, just continuing to wait. If it goes G4, I play FG4. I'm going to keep waiting. See if it plays G4 here, or it goes B5. Just keep waiting. If G4, I have FG4, which should be fine. I assume the algorithm is going to force it to push a pawn at some point, so I'll go here. Goes there. Now I could play Queen B5. This is hypothetically acceptable. It's a question of whether it's a good move or not. If I go Queen B5 and it trades the queens, I'm going to play Queen B5, and I think I'm going to go A B5, and I think at some point it's actually going to play G4. Let's see if I'm right. So I'll take with the A pawn. We're now at move 167 here. I'm going to start waiting. Just wait with the bishop back and forth. Let's keep waiting with the bishops. No entry, by the way. Rook A5 doesn't matter because I can just always take or just ignore it completely. So I think what I need to do now is I need to put the bishop on G7 maybe. Need to make sure there's no Rook A5, Rook takes B5, but that doesn't really look like it works. Maybe I still can't win this, but after FG4, let's think about this. I'm just gonna sit and wait with my bishop here. Last pawn push, move 168, by the way, so we now are headed towards move 218 before any material can be captured. Of course, in this position I can't really play anything cheeky like bishop H4 because white can still sack on B5, so there's still a long way to go in this position. Keep waiting. Probably bishop C7 somewhere, bishop D8. I feel like maybe I could have got a better version of this somehow than what I did in the game. Like maybe I could have gotten the queen straight on A4 rather than trading the queens here, but alas, it is what it is, and I will just keep waiting. So now I'm just going to start pre-moving, save a little bit of time here, of course, not that the game is timed, but save a little bit of time here, and then as we get really close to the 50 moves, that's when I need to start being careful, because the computer will not push a pawn until we're very close to move 50. Now the reason the computer is also going to push a pawn is because if you look at the position, it has 2 rooks which are mathematically worth 10 and 2 bishops which are mathematically worth 6, and I only have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, so 2 bishops and a pawn equals 7. 3 plus 3 plus 1 is 7. 5 plus 5 is 10. So the computer thinks it's ahead by 3 points here. So that's why in this position I can sort of keep on waiting, and eventually it is going to push the pawn because the algorithm will tell it you're ahead by that much material, you need to start pushing the pawns and winning the game. So now I'm going to start waiting because I don't know if it wants to go Rook A5 or what's going on exactly, but we're 208 I believe is the critical moment, right? 208. So maybe I go bishop F8 to provoke it. Actually, yes, I think I'm gonna go the way that I provoke this is I think I go here, and eventually it's gonna go G4. I think it's gonna go G4. I'll wait. Will it play G4 is the big question. I think it will, but I'm not sure. I think it's gonna go G4. Let's go here. It's gonna go G4, right? No, or the moment of truth, is it gonna go G4? Wait, was this not last capture was move 168? Oh no, does it realize it's a draw? Wait, wasn't last capture move 168, or am I stupid? Wait, A6 was the last pawn push on move 168. Oh, sorry, I can't do math, you guys. 168 plus 50 is 215. So I actually cannot do math. You guys see, even though I'm a very good chess player, I don't know what 168 plus 50 is. Very, very poor for me, but it is what it is. So I thought we'd reach 50 moves, but since clearly 218 is 50 and not 208, that means we have a long way to go still. Did it move? Wait, what just happened? Did it move? Wait, what just happened? Did it move? Wait, what just happened? Did the game just end? Unbeknownst to me, did chess.com glitch somehow? It might have just glitched. Huh? I think chess.com might have just glitched here. Well, this is fun. This is a very anticlimactic way for the game to end. I don't know what I'm supposed to do exactly here, but I just made another move. Can I offer to draw? I cannot offer. I can only offer to resign. I can't seem to offer a draw. Do I refresh? If I refresh the board, the game will probably end. So I'm guessing that for some reason the bot froze, is my understanding. So let me open another browser. Let me see if I can see if I can refresh, I guess, or something. I don't know what happened, honestly. But if I hit refresh, wait, it still shows up, so let me hit refresh. Oh, it moved. Oh, it moved. So we're still good. We're still good, you guys. We're still good. Okay, we're still good. We're still game. Let's go bishop f8. Okay, I got scared for a second. Okay, we're still in it. So let's keep going. Let's play, I guess, bishop. I mean, it's gonna push g4. It has to push g4 eventually. Now it's trying to invite me to play d4 here. d4 d3 is playable, but I still don't think that I can win this position after like rook c2 and takes. I don't really see it, so I'm gonna try to force it to push g4. Go here, and now it's probably gonna play g4. No, okay, now we're very close. So now we're at 215. We're a couple of moves away, maybe. Let's go back. Now it does play g4. So now, of course, I have to take with f pawn. H takes h5, and I would lose the game. So how do I win is the question. I think I should be winning now, by the way, if I'm precise in this end game. I now have 2 bishops and 2 pawns. I can go f6 here. F5 looks wrong. F6 is kind of... Thing is, if I play f6 and I'm wrong, I feel like an idiot here. If I'm right, however, I feel really good about myself. So let's think. If I go f6, there's still king d4, I guess, and white's still kind of okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play bishop f8. I'm going to go bishop to f5 now, maybe. Now I've got c3 ideas in play. And also go here to hit the pawn. It goes king g3. So how do I do this is the question. I've got these 2 pawns that I want to push up the board, but I can't break through easily. I mean, maybe I can go f6 here at some point. Try to do this. Goes king f2. f6 is the hero play, but I think the problem for me here is there's this passed a pawn. If not for this a pawn being passed, like if I could have the pawn blockade and bring the king over, I think I would actually be close to winning, but I don't think I can actually do anything now. So it's probably just going to be a draw. Can't sack a bishop. That's not enough material. And if I go here, I don't think it's going to push a pawn, but maybe it will. I think it's too risky playing f6, so I'm just going to make the draw now. I know we spent a lot of time on this game, but we're probably going to make the draw. Let's go back and forth. Last pawn push was what move number? It was move 217, so we need to get to 267. So I'm just going to start pre-moving because it's not going to go f5 or anything. It's just going to make some pretty obvious moves. I could maybe take a a6 pawn, but I don't want to because then he stacks the rooks. So let's see. I expected to do something around 267, like give up a pawn or do something, but it's not going to do anything before then because, as I mentioned earlier, the algorithm is programmed to not do that. Okay, let's keep going back. We're essentially at 30 moves here. The pawn push should be coming fairly soon, though. It's 215, I believe. Let me make sure that I'm not crazy on that. 217. So 217 plus 50 is 267. So we're about 10 moves out. Keep pre-moving. I'll make 4 quick pre-moves. And has it frozen again? I think it has frozen again, hasn't it? Let's refresh. go back. Apparently you can't pre-move, but the game does end in a draw when all is said and done. So the game ends in a draw when all is said and done. Let's try one more game, and this game I'm just gonna play, I guess I'll play just standard normal moves, and we'll see how it does. Okay, we got e4 c5. Okay, I'm gonna play knight f3, play like an open Sicilian here, very aggressive. Knight c6. Now this is an opening that Magnus Carlsen would play. In fact, we had this in our Speed Chess Championship match in many games. Let's play d4, play an open variation just to get absolutely crushed if this bot is 3300. Let's go knight c3, get e5. Okay, I'm gonna play knight b5. Now the recent World Blitz Chess Championship, after d6 knight d5, Magnus lost to Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, but I'm gonna play this bishop g5 line, much more standard. Let's go, could take on f6, but let's go knight a3. I'm gonna play the knight d5 takes and c4 line. This line is a little bit more more positional, and it's a little bit more closed as well. So let's go c4, probably get b4, knight c2, maybe knight e3. Let's go knight c2. I can also go g3 h4 at some point. I think I'm just going to play g3 h4 right away. There's always bishop d3. I think b3 is important to stop black from playing b3. And now I think I'm going to play, I can go h4 here, maybe h5, probably get h5, bishop h3, go bishop h3. Maybe I should have played h5 first, by the way. Trades, which is interesting, not what I was expecting at all, because now I have the two knights. It's trying to break through. I understand what it's playing for. It wants to go for some knight d4, fe4. I don't love my position, but I think it should be kind of okay. Kind of being the keyword. Let's play queen d3. Probably I'll go rook h2, try to castle my king, knight d4. Now I could take and try to run the king out. It's a little bit scary to play, I'm going to be honest. If I take fe4, queen e4, ed4, probably that's just queen d3, queen d7 doesn't look very good. So I don't really want to trade the knights, but I know he's going to take and go rook f3, which could be very, very, very bad for me. Knight b4 is not a move. Knight e3 looks kind of weird because of f4. I don't really want to trade, but if I don't trade, what do I do here? Actually, this is a model game by the computer, the way that it's opening up this diagonal as well. So this is a game to pay close attention to from the general themes of what you're trying to go after with the classic Sveshnikov Sicilian. Now I'm going to take, this is not what I want to do. Yeah, he takes. I mean, I could play knight c6, doesn't look right. So I'm going to take, I'm going to go like queen g4 maybe. I want to go h5 somewhere. I want to run the king to f1. Let's go here, hit the pawn. Or is there some queen a5? No, I go here. Feel like I'm close to losing somehow. Now he has h5 and I can't stop queen e2 and I'm just getting crushed. That's how you do it. Yeah, now the queen has no squares on the diagonal and I'm simply losing the game. So this game was played pretty well. I feel like in general, I'm just gonna is there any move here? There really are no good moves to stop black from winning the game here. If I go queen f3, there's rook takes queen, queen e2 it takes. Move the queen to g5, there's queen e2 check, winning the game. So I'm just going to resign the game right here. So we lose 2 games, we draw 1 game. General takeaway, pretty strong bot. I don't feel like it's playing like Mittens necessarily. It's a little bit weaker, but overall very, very strong. Now we do get the 1 draw, which is quite nice, obviously, but a very strong bot, which is sort of modeled after Magnus Carlsen. So quite strong, not as strong as say like Stockfish 16, I would say, based on my intuitions of how it played, but overall very, very good. But we do get 1 draw out of 3 games. So on that note, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Today we played against the Magni bot, which has a rating of impossible. In reality, that rating is probably close to like 3400 ish, I would say, but we do get a draw playing against the Magni bot, which is rated impossible. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, make sure to smash that subscribe button below, and we'll be back soon with some more great YouTube only content. See you guys. Bye.